Hello everybody, this is Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. I want to show you some of these pretty flower embellishments that I have been making. I thought they would look so good on the front of a journal, and then I'm going to show you how to do it. So as you can see, it's just lots and lots of layers, ruffles, colors, lace. I made these two very pastel because they looked Eastery to me. This one is made with just lots of beautiful laces, and then I added some chain and some pearls and some boho dangles down the side. This one is actually the first one that I made. This was my inspiration. This is an earring. Junk jewelry earring piece. And so then I've got my layers here, and I put a little stickles around that. And then this is also some junk jewelry tassel that I had. And then I've got the gold chains hanging from that one. Now the center for this one is something I created a while back, just with bugle beads and a flat back pearl and then my Swarovski crystals. This one also has an earring dangling from it right here. So I took the colors of the earring and just tried to match things to go with it. This one is on some coffee dyed lace there that I had. And this is also coffee dyed lace. And then I just put the flower. I added some pearl sprays, added some chain, and then this beautiful boho bead that was part of a swap. So someone else made that. Gorgeous. And then this one looks blue really in the video, but it's not. It's quite lavender. Let me see. No, it still looks blue over there too, but it's lavender. And then a boho bead here that was also gifted to me. And so I'm just hanging my chains from jump rings. You can see my jump rings there. I just kind of stuck it through the lace. And so that's what I have been making. So I'm going to move these to the side, and we're going to make one together if you would like to make one with me. I started with this circle. You can start with any size. I wanted a big one, so this is 2.5-inch circle. So I started with just a cardstock circle, and then I'm going to take some lace, and I'm going to take some fabric. And for this one, I had this idea to make like a blue jean flower. This is blue jean print. It's really just a cotton, but it looks like denim. Looks like denim. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some circles out of this denim. You can die cut them if you have a die cut machine, and I do, but it just doesn't always cut fabric real well. So I'm going to show you how I do it. You can do whatever works for you, but I know about what size I want it to be. I'm going to see if I can do 3. So what I did is I just rough cut a strip, and I folded it into thirds. Now I can't do it. There it is. Folded it into thirds. Okay, just kind of finger press it. And I am going to just cut a circle. Doesn't have to be perfect. If you don't get it right the first time, you just keep going around till you get it the size you want. And that's about the size that I'm looking for right here. This is about 3 inches because I know how big these need to be to go on the base of my thingamabobby. Okay, so I'm going to cut a few more of those off camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, I want to show you what I did here. I've got 6 of this larger size, that's about 3 inches. Then I've got 3 of this smaller size. And what I'm going to do, and I've got my fold here for 3 more. This is how I did the big one. I just took the size that I want for the smaller size, and I'm just kind of using it now as my pattern to do my other 3 petals. And you don't have to have 6 petals. You can have as many, you can choose as many or as few as you want. Okay, now we're going to put that away. And I like denim and lace together. So we're going to add a little bit of lace Now this lace is a little on the stiff side, so I'm going to actually do something a little different. Instead of doing the circles, I'm going to do the lace just a little bit different, but you'll understand when we get there. Let me see how I want to do it. I tell you what, I'll wait so I can show you how I do that exactly. And then I've got some burlap here. I'll probably add a little bit of burlap to it. Okay, so for starters, we're going to start with our big circle. We're going to take one of our bigger fabric circles, and there's like 199 ways to make flowers. This is just one of the many. Okay, so what I did, I folded in half, but not all the way. I left a little bit of a border. That leaves a little bit of a ruffle. And you can see that it's not exactly straight. It's okay. You want it to be a little imperfect. Then I folded this over, but not all the way, and not all the way to the top. Does that make sense? See, I did not go all the way fold to fold like that. I backed it up a little, and then I didn't go all the way up to the top here, because then that hides the ruffle behind. So if that makes any sense to you, that's how I did it. So fold it in half, but not all the way. Then fold it about, I don't know, what is that, a third of the way, a third of the piece folded over, so it left a little ruffle. Okay, now we have a petal. And I use hot glue for this because it's quick. So I put y'all look at my well-loved glue gun. I tell you, this thing has been with me for a while. I need a new one. I put a little bit of glue in that fold to hold those two together, and then a little dot of glue there, and I stick it in the middle of my cardboard bottom. And if you have a silicone finger, and I do, ta-da! If you have one of these little jobs, you can go in there and smash that glue down and not burn your finger, and it works great. Okay, so next petal. All right, so we're going to do the same thing. We've got our wrong sides together, fold it in half, but not all the way. Leave a little border. Then fold this edge over, but see, we're going down here, but leaving, I'm not going all the way to here. Leave a little bit of that open. I hope that makes sense. All right, let's see. Where do I want this petal? I am I'm gonna put it next to this one, and I'm going to overlap a little. So I'm going to do the same thing. Put a little in there, put a little in there, and I'm going to put it in the middle, but I'm overlapping this one just a little bit. And the reason I'm doing that is because these petals are pretty big, and 6 would be too many. It might still be too many. I'm just kind of playing it by ear. Okay, so let's go again. Fold over, fold over. All right. Take a little bit of glue in that dot there and a little bit right there. And I'm going to overlap this one just a wee bit. And see, I'm trying to kind of keep these even. You don't want them perfectly even because you want it to look real, like a real flower, you know, a little more realistic. But, you know, you don't want one sticking way out either. All right, let's go again. Fold it over, fold it over. Let me back that up just a little, okay? We'll put a little glue there. We'll put a little glue there. And I'm going to put that one in there, and it's overlapping. And see, now I'm looking right here. Before it dries, I'm looking kind of right here to make sure that I've got it even. I'm thinking one more is going to do us instead of 6. Okay, we'll go with 5 petals. All right, so glue there, glue there. Now, these were the larger petals, remember? So I'm holding that, kind of eyeballing that. All right, first row is looking good. And the reason I love to smash that in the middle, because if not, that glue will start kind of building up. It'll try to build up a little mountain in the middle, and you don't really want that because your embellishment has to go in the middle. Okay, now this is a smaller size. This is the, do it like that so you can see it's a little bit smaller than the first one. But we're going to do the exact same thing. Fold it over, but not all the way. Now I want to find a joint. So here's the last petal that I just put on. So I'm going to put this one right there. So I'm overlapping the one I just put on just a little bit. And now this one, I don't necessarily want it even with these because this is a shorter row, so it just goes in a little bit. Okay. All right, next one. Pull it down a little. And because this fabric is dark on one side and light on the other, you're going to get some variation in color on your petals, and I think that's kind of cool. Okay, so I'm going to finish these, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this row ended up being 5 petals also. Now I'm looking at it, and to me, that guy right there is sticking out just a little more than I want it to. So I'm just going to trim. I don't want them all completely even, but I don't want one sticking way out there either. All right, now you can fluff. Actually, you could stop right there if you want to and just put something pretty in the middle, and that would be awesome. Or you can take your lace, you can put some lace behind it, or lace in the middle, burlap behind it, or burlap in the middle. And I do like burlap. So I tell you what, I think I'm going to do some burlap behind it. So let's look at that. Let's see what that would look like. So I'm going to cut a piece of burlap. I'm going to guess. I'm just kind of guesstimating here. Now this burlap is kind of like a Christmas ribbon trim burlap. So it has selvages. It has edges over there. Okay, so what I want is a big circle, all right? And all these little bits and bobs of burlap are really good if you're making some faux paper, like I did in a previous video not too long ago, where I just sprinkled a bunch of stuff, these little fibers, you know, just shred them to pieces, and that would work really good. Now I'm judging this against the size of my flower, okay? And I've decided I'm going to go a little bit smaller. So here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to fold it in half exactly 2 times, exactly, all right? And I'm going to trim it right here. I'm making it just a wee bit smaller, okay? Now, before I open that up, I'm going to do the little rounded edges, like in my previous paper flower video. Okay, and now we've got 4 little petals that just barely stick out behind our little flower. We can leave it like that if we want to. I'm going to show you something else I want to do, because now to me that's just a little bit too hidden. Take some pink, some heavy-duty pinking shears, and let's pink the edges of some of these pieces here. We don't have to do all of them, but let's pink a few of them, and that'll give them a little bit more ruffle too. So you could have cut them out, cut your circles out with pinking shears, which is what I would have done if I'd have thought about it before now. But I just thought about it. I thought, oh, let's add a little ruffle there. So it's the creative process, you understand. So I'm just going to pink a little bit here. I want this little edge right there. All right, now let's fluff that back up some more. Okay, so let me show you what I'm doing. I decided to hold off on that 4-petal flower because it just wasn't showing up well enough. So I cut another one here. Okay, so what I did is I could just cut me another circle, and I am trying to get it. I made 6 petals here. I'm trying to get about the size of that. So in order to cut the whole circle down and it be relatively even, I folded it in half twice, and I'm cutting that raw edge. So that kind of keeps my circle. All right, so now the size is better. So now what I want to do is the same way we made our paper flowers and our fabric flowers before. Fold it in half, put your thumb in that middle point, fold this side up about 1/3 of the way, okay? Fold this side back about 1/3 of the way. You should have a cone, and then you just cut off the pointed edges on the side right here, just a little bit. And when you open that up, you end up with a 6-petal flower. Now, it's kind of hard to see with burlap, and boy, burlap makes a mess, y'all. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stagger these two petals from the burlap on top of each other, about like so. Now I'm going to see if I like it. Yes, yes, yes. I do, I do, I do. All right, so I'm going to hot glue. I'm not going to do it on the table down here because I don't want it to stick to my quilt top thing I got there. See, here comes that silicone finger again. Okay, so now that is hot glued down. All right, now, so I'm going to fluff it just a little, and I can always go back and trim this. If I want that a little bit shorter, if I don't want it quite that far, I can trim it. And it's going to shed a little bit on its own, which is okay. Don't mind that either. This is kind of a shabby chic looking flower anyway, so it needs to be a little shabby. Okay, now we got that. All right, so I chose burlap this time instead of lace, but you can do lace too anywhere in there if you want to. And you could even take a tiny lace and put it right here in the center, which would be real cute. So now all we got to do is find us a little center and figure out what do we want to put in the center. Okay, so I decided I am going to add a little bit of lace. So I got this really narrow lace here that I have coffee dyed, and I've got me a needle, and I tied me a little knot in the end, and I am going to stitch just like a long, a real quick, easy running stitch. And I don't want a whole lot here because the center of this flower is not real big. All right. So what I'm doing, I'm just stitching and gathering that up. And then what I want to do is lay it out. I don't want it so roughly, ridiculously roughly. So that's how I decide about how far I want to go. And truthfully, that's about it right there. I'm going to say that's going to do me. So I'm going to pull that as tight as I want it. I don't want it real tight. I want it kind of loose. All right. So I came out of this end. Now what I want to do is go back in where my knot was for about a ½ inch or so. I have an embroidery book that describes that as making the two seams kiss. Make your two seams kiss. So you are going to, and then just kind of look at it and shape it out the way you want it. Make sure it's the right, make sure it's not too tight, but make sure it's tight enough. And when you get it just the way you want it, let's look at it and see. Yeah, that'll probably work. So you can see I'm leaving a little bit of a hole in the middle. See that hole there? And that's because I have an idea of what I'm going to put in the middle. And this lace is so narrow, so I want it to show up. Okay, so I'm just tacking it in the back just to give it a little, boy, this thread is not good thread. It keeps wanting to knot up. Okay, I'm going to make a little tack in the back. And I'm going to cut that off. All right, let's see what it looks like. Ooh, I got such a mess. I'm going to have to take this out and shake it when I get through because of all that burlap. All right, so this is going to go right there in the middle. And I'm not going to glue it just yet because I got to put my center in. So let's find a center for it. This is a little flower center that I made a while back. It has a felt back to it. It has flat back pearl and then Swarovski crystals glued around the edge. So that looks pretty good to me. So I think for this one, I'm going to bump it up a notch from hot glue. I think I'm going to go ahead and use some of this 3-in-1 because I think it would hold a lot better. I want to make sure this stays for a long time. I don't want it to pop loose. I know it'll hold that fabric. All right, so I'm just putting a little bit of there around the edge. That's from a lace, and then some for the flower center. All right, so let's take our little piece of lace. I'm not worried about my thread showing in the middle there because my flower center is going to hide that. All right, do want that to move over just a little bit. Now, and I'm going to put just, I think, I'm going to go ahead and put the glue here too. That felt on the back too helps that to adhere as opposed to just being a little pearl back, you know. All right, now we'll smash that down on there. Now we're going to let that dry. Now the rest of the embellishment is chain and jewelry pieces and all that good stuff. So let me move some of this out of the way. It's going to stick to me. All right, I'm just going to keep holding that. Okay, so what I did is I pulled some chain. This is just a little necklace. I thought about using part of that, but then I found this, and I think I'm going to use this. This is a necklace. I think I used to wear this. Used to be one of my necklaces with all the little stones and stuff on it, and I just thought the stones looked good with this. So while this dries over here to the side, I'm going to look at that. I think that was the shortest one, or was that the longest one? Doesn't really matter. I'm going to take it all apart anyway. I'm going to start with the shortest one. Okay. And I'm going to look at the distance. If I put that on each side, that's still too long. All right. So you're going to have some jewelry tools if you have them to make this work. That is hooked together up at the top with a jump ring. So I'm just going to pull that off. All right. Now I'm going to decide. I want it to hang from about, and this one I'll have to hook it into the fabric because the burlap's not going to be strong enough to hold it. So I'm going to guess about right here is where I want to be. So I am going to just open that little hook and take that off. All right, then this guy needs some, let me go back over here and smash that again while it's drying. It needs some jump rings. And this is antique brass. Let me get my antique brass jump rings. Okay, so this is more of the same color jump ring. All right, I'm going to push that down one more time. All right, so all I'm going to do is take a pokey tool, and I am going to poke a hole somewhere where I think it'll be pretty strong, and it's going to stay pretty good. All right, so I got a little hole right there. I don't know if you can see it. I hope you can see it. Here's my jump ring. Let's open it up just a little bit. So I got my jump ring on one end of this, and we're going to see if I can ring that hole. Can't even see the hole. Where is the hole? Okay, I don't see it anywhere. All right, let's go again. Let's make another little pokey hole. All right, come on. And try not to poke my finger. It'd be just like me. Okay, that's the reason I was trying to hold it. If you hold it with your hand like that, don't let go, you won't lose your place. See, there's the little hole. All right, so now all I'm going to do is close up that jump ring. And it's a big jump ring, so I didn't even have to have my other plier to do it with. Okay, now then I just judge about how far I want that to hang. And so I'm going to go with this right here. And I'm going to take that off. And I'm going to take my other jump ring and open it real good. And stick that in there. Okay, now pokey tool. And I'm just kind of judging. I'm looking at this and kind of going, straight across roughly, give or take. Ain't got to be perfect. I'm going to poke another hole, and I'm going to hold my finger right there in that hole so I don't lose it. Hello, come back. There we go. And now we're going to put that jump ring in that hole, or at least that's the plan. Come on, there we go. And we're going to close it up. All right, now you've got a beautiful flower with your chain. Now we're just going to hang something pretty down the side. Okay, so I went through my stash of boho beads and I chose this one. Even though it's gold, I do mix metals a lot. This has some silver in it. This has bronze. This has gold and bronze. So it's okay. But this is a boho bead that I made a while back, and it's got this little ring on the bottom, and the ring has a blue heart stone in it. So I think that'll be cute. So my boho beads hang from bulb pins. So all I have to do is open the bulb pin, and you don't have to do this step at all if you don't want anything hanging, that's okay. And just hang it from the side, and you can leave it there. You can hang something there. You can hang something there. I mean, you can just keep embellishing as much as you want to, but I think I like it, and I'm going to leave it just like that. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Have a wonderful and blessed day. Thank you. Bye-bye.